Hey guys, it's Alan, the Fireman 1028, and today we got another project on our Honda Transalp 750. Today we're installing a T-Rex Racing skid plate. T-Rex Racing is one of my, not site sponsors, but we have a partnership together, and if you enter the code the Fireman 1028, you can get 10% off all your purchases. So this is their heavy duty skid plate. Again, it is a really high quality piece. Again, if you see anything in this video that you like, please hit the like button, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing here. So again, this is a pretty simple installation. We got a handful of tools. We got a 10mm wrench. We got a 13mm wrench, not a 12, a 13mm wrench, and a 17mm. Now, again, my installation was a little different because we already had the T-Rex Racing crash bars in place. So the steps are still the same, but you just use the bolts that are a little bit different. And then you also have a 10mm Allen head, 12mm Allen head, and a 12mm socket. So let's get started and let's see how it goes. All right, guys, so let's see what comes in the box with our T-Rex Racing skid plate. So some good packing material. One thing I give T-Rex is that they pack their stuff very well. The protection that they put, the packaging is just real thick plastic. You got to give it to T-Rex Racing for how they pack their stuff. So let's get this packing material open. There's packaging material. A sharper knife. Wow. Everything is well packaged. Almost to the point of being too well packaged. Again, T-Rex Racing, awesome company, based out of Texas. Use the code the Fireman 1028, and you'll get 10% off of all your purchases. Awesome, awesome guys. I don't get anything out of that, but they were cool enough to offer that discount code for any of my viewers. Good Lord. Wow. Look at this. That is a beefy ass skid plate. Look at their welds. I mean, incredibly high quality welds. I love how they always put a service plate on there. A little 4mm Allen head there, one right here. Now those probably get full of dirt and everything else, but you know, we can worry about that later. But pull that plate off right there. You can access everything for your oil changes. That is so well laid out. Again, look at the quality of the welds that they have on all their stuff. This is really high quality stuff. This is going to look so good on the bike. So let's get it on the bike. All right, guys, so T-Rex Racing no longer includes written instructions with their stuff. So they do have a YouTube channel, and the videos are okay. So I'll show you what we got in the package besides for the skid plate. Is we've got these two brackets. We got the two big bolts that those go in right there. And then we've got some smaller bolts. So it looks like we got some 10mm, some 12mm, maybe a 5 or 6mm Allen head. And so really, so installation shouldn't be that bad. So we're going to take our time. I'm going to show you everything, and hopefully this will be a good demonstration of how to do the T-Rex Racing skid plate. Again, they make incredible products. Always get the stickers. They make incredible products. They just don't include paper instructions anymore, and they even say it on their little bag here because they're going green, so they don't do instructions anymore, which is stupid. All right, guys, so we got the Transalp pulled out. Now, our installation is going to be a little bit different because we already have our T-Rex Racing crash guards, our upper crash guards in place. And part of their process, let me see if I can show you here. This bolt right here, if you're looking at it, now again, I'll show you, kind of come out a little bit. We're on the left side of the bike. This bolt right here, right beside the radiator hose, that's the bolt that we're going after. Now, again, I already have the T-Rex Racing crash guards in place. So the bolt, actually, this bolt looks longer than the one that comes with the kit. And the bracket, this guy here, it attaches to the back side. Again, I'm gonna see if I can get a good angle here. It attaches to the back side of this bracket right here, right this way. It actually attaches in 2 points. It attaches with this bolt, but then it's got a little smaller bolt that attaches right here. So you got 2 bolt holes there. So one goes up high and one goes down low. So the bolt actually fits, you got just enough, you got just enough threads on the back of that bolt. Just enough threads on the back of that bolt, right back over here, where you can still hook it in without any issue. All right, guys, so we got the bracket installed. This was not the easiest thing, and it's not difficult, it's just damn difficult to get to. So this bracket right here is gonna be the left side bracket for the skid plate. It attaches, you can see right here, there's a bolt that goes right into this plate, and the other bolt feeds on the back end of this one here. Now again, this bolt's already been replaced because of the T-Rex Racing crash guards. And that's the same size bolt that comes with the other kit. So it's just long enough that you can still run the bolt through here and attach the bracket on the back side right there, which maybe I can see if I can get a little view of that right up there. See that right there? That's where that bolt attaches right there. And the bracket's got threaded inserts on that bottom one right there. So the bolt will just thread in right here. Again, don't do them tight. Just get the bracket on there for now, and then we can tighten everything up later. All right, so on the right side of the bike, I call it passenger side. So here's our radiator hose again. This bolt right here, again, ours has already been replaced because of our crash bars. So we're gonna reuse this bolt, and we're gonna take the other bracket here, and we're going to attach it on the back side of that plate right there. So the big hole is gonna go in there, and then the small one, we're gonna use that second little bolt, and it's gonna go right through there. All right, so here is what the final looks like. So there's the small bolt that goes in from the inside. There's our big bolt. There's our bracket right there. And you can see that's where it attaches. Here's a good view from the other side right there. And that's what our 2 brackets are gonna look like. And again, I got them loose still because we're still gonna fit everything on there. All right, now while we're on this side of the bike here, we're gonna remove this 12mm bolt right here that holds on the, looks like an exhaust hanger right here. So we're gonna pull this 12mm bolt out right here. This bolt here. Pull that, set it aside for now. Now back on the left side of the bike, where here's our shifter right here. So we're gonna take this 5mm bolt right here, and that's gotta come out as well, because that's one of the mounting points for the skid plate on the back side. Push your shifter down Push your shifter down just a little bit, and that'll give you just the clearance that you need to get that bolt started. Once you get it started, it comes out pretty easy. Now all this bolt does is it holds this little bracket right here that holds on your vent tubes. I think your vent tubes are gonna just kind of dangle after that, I guess. I don't know, we'll find out in a minute. And then once you've taken that off, then go ahead and take this little bracket. You're not gonna need this little guy anymore. So pull that guy off. All right, at this point, we are ready to start installing the skid plate. So that same exhaust bolt that we took off, got that cool looking washer right there, that's gonna get reused. That's gonna go back in place. Now it's threaded inside there. So we're gonna replace the bolt that was in there with this M8 bolt that comes with a kit. So this first part's gonna be a little handsy, because you gotta hold up this beefy skid plate, get that washer in place, and then feed that bolt in. So this might take us a time or two to figure this out. And just kind of let it hang a little bit. It ain't gonna go anywhere. All right, so there is our first bolt for the kit. So of course that bolt was supposed to have a washer on it, so let's try it again. Now it's right. All right, so back here on the driver's side, the left side of the bike, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the M8 and the M6 bolts that came with the kit, and we're gonna install those in these two holes right here. So these two holes here are gonna go into those two right there. And then your vent and drain hoses are just gonna go inside of the skid plate. So let's see if we can get a good angle on that. This is usually the point where I drop something and I spend the next 20 minutes trying to find the damn thing. And I feel like I'm about to do that. Trust me, I'm doing it. All right, so got these bolts. You can see down inside there. So got that one started, got them both inside there. All right, and then our last step here is going to be to raise up our skid plate, put these M8 bolts here with washers through these holes into these brackets. Again, everything's still loose because we want to get it on there, and then once we get everything in place, then we'll tighten it all down. Ha-ha! All right, bolt started. All right, so we got all bolts in and started, and so now we'll go through and start tightening things down. But you can already see, you can see the design and everything of how they contour the shape of the skid plate and how it just kind of complements, look at that, how it just kind of complements the shape of the bike. That's a good looking skid plate, and you can see the amount of protection. Let's see if we can get underneath this thing. You can see the amount of protection that this thing provides. And there's your oil drain plug right there. Look at that. What? And then you got that access plate that you can pull that whole plate off right there to access the whole front headers, all that good stuff, without having to take the skid plate off. That, my friends, is a good design. All right, so now let's go through and let's tighten up all our bolts. Our 12 millimeter little guy that's hiding up here. There, the 8 millimeter some biscuit that's hiding up here. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take this bolt off right here on the front to drop the skid plate, because we got to tighten the nut that goes. Did I already got that tight? So we're going to have to So we're going to loosen, take these guys back off for now, because what we're going to have to do is that the big 8mm guy right here has a nut behind it. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to tighten that down first before we mount that skid plate in its final location, because those will not be accessible once you get to that point. So let's put our vice grips on it. Up here, up here. Because that guy does multiple things. It holds on the skid plate, but also is a mounting point for the crash bars. Okay, so like I said, we had to back up a minute. What we had to do is we had to get a 17mm wrench and put it on the inside of this bolt. There's a nut on the inside of that bolt, but we couldn't access it with the skid plate in place. So we had to drop these two bolts here to put a wrench right inside here on each side to get those brackets. So now that we've gotten those done, got the skid plate remounted, we can tighten everything back up and we should be done. So that's a 13mm bolt on the inside and a 12mm on the outside. Make that make sense, T-Rex. Make that make sense. Come on, girl. Come on, old girl. There you go. There you go. Okay. Now, just need to tighten down these two bolts right here, and we should be done. Then we got the last two little bolts to tighten down, and that's the ones right there, that guy. And that should do it. All right, so that'll do it for the installation of the T-Rex Racing skid plate on our Honda Transalp 750. The installation was not difficult, but it also wasn't very easy because it was some, again, like I said, we already had the crash bars, so it kind of made it a little bit more difficult, but ultimately, with the crash bars now and with the skid plate, we've got really good protection. They do make a set of lower crash bars, but honestly, we're not going to be doing any hardcore off-roading, so I think this setup is going to be a really good setup and not have the additional weight of having the lower crash bar. So again, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. God bless, roll tide, and remember, tomorrow needs you. Thanks, guys.